What's up, animal lovers? Today we're taking a closer look at elephants, the great giants that roam the savannas of Africa and the jungles of Asia. While these creatures share a common ancestor and have many similarities, evolution has shaped them in distinct ways, leading to some fascinating differences. Let's check out a few. The African bush elephant, standing tall on the vast African plains, the giant among giants. They're the largest land animal on Earth, with males reaching a height of up to almost 13 feet at the shoulder, the height of a double-decker bus. Their Asian cousins, still enormous in stature, are a little bit smaller, with males rarely beating the 10.5-foot mark. Size, of course, is directly related to weight, and here again, the African bush elephant tops the charts. A fully grown male can tip the scales at over 6 tons, the Mack trucks of the animal kingdom. Asian elephants, still robust, are lighter, but males still average a massive 5 tons. Did you know elephants can't jump? This is because of their skeletons, specifically the downward-pointing bones in their legs, that prevent them from having the necessary spring to push off the ground and jump. They are the only mammals incapable of jumping. As huge as elephants are, they generally don't shake the ground when walking normally. The padding on their feet and unique gait allow them to move pretty quietly, even when walking at high speeds. However, they can create seismic vibrations through the ground when they walk, communicate, or even play, which other elephants can sense. One of the more striking differences between African and Asian elephants is in their tusks. Both males and females of the African species sport these ivory swords, which can grow to extraordinary lengths. The longest African elephant tusk ever recorded stretched to 11.5 feet, longer than a small car. In Asian elephants, however, tusks are generally shorter and less curved, and a lot of time females don't even have them. Another difference is in their trunks. Elephants have around 40,000 muscles in their trunk. That's way more than the 600 to 700 muscles found in the entire human body. Their trunks might be the most sensitive organ found in any mammal. The main difference between African and Asian elephant trunks are in the number of fingers or prehensile tips at the end. African elephants have 2, while Asian elephants have 1. This difference affects how they grasp and manipulate objects. The African elephant trunk with its 2 fingers allow for precise grasping, picking up small objects like individual blades of grass, and even holding them like a human hand. Asian elephants use the 1 finger on their trunk like a fingertip. They tend to use their entire trunk to wrap around objects and bring them to their mouths. The African elephant's trunk is visibly more heavily ringed and is not as hard as the Asian elephant's. Now here's where it can get messy. We're talking about bladder size. You might be surprised to know that African elephants possess significantly larger bladders than their Asian counterparts. This adaptation is directly linked to their arid environment, where water can be hard to come by. A larger bladder allows them to store more water, enabling them to travel long distances between drinks, a crucial survival strategy in the African savanna. Another distinguishing feature is the difference in head shape between these 2 types of giants. African elephants possess a more rounded, single-domed head. The forehead appears fuller and more continuous, lacking a prominent central indentation. Asian elephants exhibit a twin-domed head. This means their forehead has 2 distinct, noticeable bumps separated by a central depression or indent. This might be the easiest way to tell if that's an Asian or an African elephant that you're looking at, other than being in Africa or Asia, of course. These subtle differences in skull shape are thought to be related to variations in diet and feeding habits. Another noticeable difference is the ears of African and Asian elephants. African elephants have significantly larger ears than Asian elephants. An adult African elephant's ear can measure 6 feet from top to bottom and 5 feet across. In contrast, Asian elephant ears are considerably smaller, reaching about 5 feet in length. The shape of the ears is also distinctive. African elephant ears are often described as resembling the continent of Africa, with a more angular bottom edge. Asian elephant ears are more rounded or semicircular in shape, sometimes said to resemble the shape of India. Why the difference? The primary reason for this difference in ear size is thermoregulation. Elephants use their large ears, filled with a network of blood vessels, to dissipate excess body heat. Flapping their ears helps to cool them down as air moves across the ears, and blood circulating through the ears loses heat. African elephants live in hotter climates, primarily on open savannas, and therefore require larger ears for more efficient cooling. Asian elephants inhabit more forested and slightly cooler environments, so they have smaller ears as they don't need to dissipate as much heat. Both African and Asian elephants are herbivores, their massive bodies fueled by a predominantly vegetarian diet. African elephants are mostly grazers, their days spent roaming the savanna, consuming vast quantities of grass, leaves, and bark. Asian elephants, on the other hand, are more inclined towards browsing, their diet consisting of a wider variety of fruits, bamboo shoots, and other vegetation found in their lush forest homes. Elephants are highly social animals, living in complex matriarchal societies. Their social bonds are incredibly strong, and they communicate through a variety of vocalizations, body language, and even seismic signals. Even here, there are notable differences in the social structures of African and Asian elephants. Differences shaped by their environments, behaviors, and evolutionary histories. African elephants tend to form larger, more fluid herds, often with dozens of individuals. These herds can merge and split as needed, depending on the availability of resources and the season. These herds are led by the oldest and most experienced female, the matriarch, who guides the group in their search for food and water. She knows the landscape and is an invaluable resource, crucial for the survival of the herd. Asian elephants, in contrast, typically live in smaller, more stable family groups, often consisting of a few related females and their young. These groups are more cohesive and less likely to split, reflecting the different environmental pressures they face. Both African and Asian elephants demonstrate remarkable intelligence and emotional depth. They show empathy, mourn their dead, and have been observed engaging in playful behaviors. Understanding their social structures not only gives us insight into their lives, but also highlights the importance of conserving these magnificent creatures and their habitats. Both types of elephants are incredibly communicative animals, whether it's vocal or physical, using a complex repertoire of sounds and gestures to interact with each other. African elephants are particularly vocal, their deep rumbles, trumpets, and roars echoing across the savanna. These vocalizations serve a variety of purposes, from signaling danger to maintaining contact with other elephants over long distances. Asian elephants, while still communicative, tend to use a more limited range of sounds, relying more on low-frequency rumbles and infrasound, sounds well below the range of human hearing. Elephants have been observed displaying some strange behavior before the onset of thunderstorms. They can become agitated, trumpet loudly, and seek shelter. It is believed that they are able to sense changes in barometric pressure or low-frequency sounds associated with approaching storms. They may also be noticing electrical disturbances in the atmosphere. We really don't know what it is that elephants seem to be noticing. Without that knowledge, we obviously have less of an idea as to what exactly about incoming thunder causes them to react with what we perceive as agitated behavior. Regardless, elephants can sense approaching storms, and that's a cool fact in and of itself. Reproduction is another area where African and Asian elephants exhibit intriguing differences. African elephants have the longest gestation period of any mammal, with females carrying their young for an average of 22 months, almost 2 years. Asian elephants, on the other hand, have a slightly shorter time period, averaging around 18 to 20 months. These differences in pregnancy time length are thought to be related to the size and development of the calves at birth. What about the lifespan of these magnificent creatures, you ask? African elephants in the wild have an average lifespan of around 60 to 70 years. Asian elephants, however, have a slightly shorter lifespan, averaging around 48 years in the wild. These differences in longevity are likely influenced by a combination of factors, including habitat, diet, and exposure to disease and predation. Sadly, both African and Asian elephants face numerous threats in the wild, including habitat loss, poaching, and human-wildlife conflict, which can significantly impact their lifespan. So there it is. Did you know that there were so many differences between these types of elephants? Understanding these differences is crucial for their conservation and protection. In the vast savannas, African elephants traverse great distances, their journey a testament to their endurance and intelligence. Meanwhile, in the lush forests of Asia, their counterparts navigate through dense vegetation, showcasing their agility and strong social bonds. But with these wonders come challenges. Habitat loss, human encroachment, and climate change threaten their existence. Each elephant, whether African or Asian, carries the weight of their species' future on their shoulders. It's a future that depends on our actions today. By understanding their behaviors and respecting their habitats, we become guardians of the wild. We hold the power to protect these gentle giants and ensure that they continue to roam our planet for generations to come. Efforts people are taking include combating poaching, protecting habitats with steps like establishing and maintaining protected areas like national parks and reserves, also creating wildlife corridors to allow elephants to move freely between habitats. African and Asian elephants remind us of the incredible diversity of life on Earth. Their behaviors, interactions, and habitats are further proof to the wonders of evolution and the richness of our natural world.